I personally find that character annoying, and it seems like every action or special effects movie has to have that character in there somewhere, and they don't exist in real life.
Yeah,
you don't have people. Well, they exist, but everybody thinks they're annoying, and so you ignore them. And when you put a character like that in the movie, it just go away. I don't want you. I don't like. Get out of my experience. And Tron had humor in it, but never had a character like that.
Yeah, the humor was very situational.
It was situational. It made sense. It fit, and then you're just like, there were genuine laughs. I felt. I thought that was really, really well written.
Yeah,
the humor was very well done. There were a few moments in there that felt a little bit cheesy. But it was never bad. It was never over the top.
Mm-hmm.
You can make an argument for the speech at the end from Clue.
Oh, when he's addressing his army.
When he's addressing his army of perfect drones. That was a little over the top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, him as a villain, Clue, he was kind of, the stereotypical villain. The reason why he was so dang nasty evil wasn't really made clear until the very end of the movie. Kind of,
Yeah, and even then, they kind of pulled back a little bit. Oh, he's not evil. He's just trying to do what he was designed to.
Yeah, to make the perfect world.
Yeah.
So
where he was just happened to have that purpose, and he's trying to fulfill his goal. I did really like the ISOs though.
Oh my goodness. When they introduced the ISOs. By the way, the reason why Adam and I went to go see this movie in the first place is because we heard that they actually got the help of some of the writers at Pixar to help them out with the script, which makes sense because Disney, Pixar, the same. Technically, it's the same company, but different teams. But
that's it's like early Pixar guys before they were Pixar that did the original special effects.
Yeah, so I was waiting for the story to get awesome, and then when they introduced the ISOs, I was like, "Wow, okay,
yeah, all right, I'm sold." The only thing though is that, and then the genocide, and I was like, "Okay, this is getting awesome," and then it turned out that the genocide was in the distant past, and I think that's where it started to lose me because there's this high, so like, okay, that's an awesome concept. These life forms just appeared out of nowhere, and then they took the form of their creator or of the, of Flynn, who was a god in this world. And, and then all of a sudden, they pull the rug out from under you, and, oh, by the way, these people don't exist. And the fact that there was one left didn't really redeem it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there might have been two left. I think Castor was one as well. I got the impression that Castor was an ISO. Because didn't he have the mark on his skin? I think the ISOs are the only ones that actually had marks on their skin.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him. He might have, though.
Yeah, they definitely didn't make a big deal about it. Although that might have been the reason why Clue decided to kill him. Spoilers. It's your own fault. Yeah, the whole concept of the ISOs I just thought was awesome.
Yeah. The biggest thing, and we'll get to this later, but the biggest change that I would have made is I would have had that genocide being ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah, because, as the movie progressed,
it started to run out of steam, I thought.
Well, it was kind of running out of steam, but I was like, okay, there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on, but I didn't really feel that attached to what was going on. Like, the whole idea with the ISOs and the genocide was like, oh, this is awesome. And then, as you said, when it was just something in the past, that's kind of like, okay, what's going on now? And, what was her name? The ISO?
I can't remember.
It was Cora. That's it.
You know what I thought was really, really interesting was that the villains in both movies had a computer-generated face.
Yep.
see, Clue in this film was his face was computer generated so that the actor, showed the young version of himself. What's this actor's name?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. Basically, they wanted to have the young Jeff Bridges face on him, so they made it computer generated. And in the original movie, for those who haven't seen it, they had this really badly done, early 80s computer graphics that was probably state of the art in the day, but by today's standards, badly done head. That was almost like a sphere with a few...
It was a cylinder with a face on it.
Yeah, a cylinder with a face on it. And the eyes, and there was no shading on it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a hole where the eyes were supposed to be, and then little discs so that he could look around, and then the mouth. It was just awful. But a computer-generated face for the villain in both movies.
Yep. Now, one thing that's interesting is I actually didn't know that the face for the young Kevin Flynn and Clue was CG. I didn't know that going into it. I knew that they had the same actor, and I was like, oh, because I looked at the face, I'm like, there's something not quite right about the face. Maybe it's the makeup. But
I thought it was the makeup. Something felt wrong to me about the face, but I figured it was the makeup that they were using. And I remember my brother was saying something about how, they did a really good job with his face. And I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, well, they did a good job. It
was good. I mean, it fooled me. It fooled me.
It did. I thought it was an actual face. Even though something felt wrong about it, but I makeup department is not immune for problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the physical properties of the makeup.
Yeah.
It was like some part of the face just didn't look elastic enough while he was talking. And I mean, it's just really, 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 really subtle, that, something that only people like us would probably notice, kind of a thing. But yeah.
Well, I would notice because I'm into the whole animation thing that includes realistic animation.
Yeah.
Study a ton about how the face moves.
Yeah, but
even so, I couldn't quite put my finger on it while I was actually watching the film. It was just when I found out that his face wasn't real, I was like, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but kudos though to the team that did it because it was really good.
Oh yeah, I mean even so, I was pretty impressed with it. They did a good job.
Yeah, I was really impressed. And while we're talking about good stuff, the vehicles were awesome.
Oh yeah, I love the vehicles.
Yeah, what was that scouting thing? The upside down U shape.
Oh, whatever that. I don't know. I'm not that big of a Tron geek. I've just seen the movies. That thing, I thought it was awesome that they gave its design a logical coherency to it.
Yeah.
All they really did was they defined what all the parts are by adding more details. But my goodness, did that make a difference?
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't just float. It actually has like rockets on those on the the outside portions of the craft, and the top part would like lower down. And
yeah, so when it lands, top part lowers down to the bottom, so it keeps you away from the business end of the rocket boosters. And I was like, okay, now it has a design that somewhat makes sense.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
And it was awesome. I mean, like, it just worked out,
Yeah, the light bikes were awesome, too. Of course.
I love the light bikes.
I want one.
Like, the whole gravity scene, where the gravity just kept getting switched up. And they had the light bikes that were underneath, and then they flipped over to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole sequence was just locked. There's only one major issue that I have with Tron as a series overall, is that even with the new movie, it was never 100% clear whether or not the programs had free will, or what they actually are, because it implied that these were programs that perform, the tasks that your computer does, like an accounting program. In fact, in the first movie, there was a program that said it actually was an accounting program. Okay, so you have this fantasy world where programs are sentient. Okay, whatever. Suspension of disbelief. You're working in the realm of an alternate world anyway. But if you're going to do that, when you're going to create a fantasy world, even if the fantasy world is loosely based on the real thing, I think you need a little bit more clarity. Do the programs have free will? Because that's important information for the audience. If they don't, then why should I give a crap? Because if they don't have free will, it means they're probably not actually sentient. Why would I give a crap if one dies?
Yeah.
If they do have a free will, if they are sentient beings, if they, so like writing a program is almost like creating new life in that case. Then it makes more sense that this would be something that you could, you could care about. Then there's also the obvious issue is, he's dead. Do we have a backup?
Yeah.
But again, it's a fantasy world, so let's just assume that's not possible in this world. So in the new movie with Clue, it kind of implied that they do have free will, but then it simultaneously implied that he didn't.
Yeah, because
he turned against his master, but then at the same time, he's still going off on, wasn't I still supposed to create the perfect world? And he's still obsessed with creating the perfect world. And I'm thinking, does he have free will or doesn't he? Because it almost, it's like, on one hand, it would take an act of free will to go against his master, but then on the other, he's obsessed with doing what his original purpose was. So...
yeah. And then there's also the all the other programs that were repurposed and turned into slaves for his program army, his botnet, as it were.
Botnet, that's a good name for it. Yeah, and then Tron at the end that had his deathbed repentance, his miraculous conversion. Let's call it that.
Yeah, he was about to kill Kevin Flynn, and
it was the two Flynns and then the ISO.
Yeah.
And
then he just turned and shot at Clue instead, kind of a thing. It was like, okay, that was a little convenient and not really well explained. Because it's like, okay, so you repurpose these programs, but apparently they can still churn on you. And on the thing as far as the reprogramming, Kevin Flynn, who is like, the creator, he can just walk up behind someone and push some buttons on the back and then, reprogram one of the guards. Was the scene where that happened. And then I guess if it's not working, you can hit him on the head and then it starts working.
However that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, if he can do that, dude, he could totally take over this whole army, because for Clue to do it, he has to put him in some reprogramming chamber. But Kevin Flynn can do it by pushing a few buttons. He can take over that army way faster than Clue could reclaim him.
Mm-hmm.
So what on earth is he wasting his time for? And then, of course, there's the, you sure should have done that sooner, Deus Ex Machina. All of a sudden, I can create this big explosion that apparently I could have done all along.
Yeah.
That's another issue altogether, though.
Yeah, it's towards the end, I kind of got the feeling that they were trying to do a lot of setup for a sequel. Like with Tron, changing colors when it gets dumped into the sea of simulation. And, some of the open ends that are at the end. Like, what actually did happen to Kevin Flynn,
Yeah, it didn't look like he was dead.
Yeah.